Hello and welcome to the Bipolar Baby Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Nicole Barrera. At the age of 24, I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder. That is the day I was reborn. In this podcast, we'll explore what it's like living with bipolar 2 through my own personal experience and overall mental health struggles. Get ready to get personal. I'll be sharing tools that have helped me get through the tough times, as well as the wonderful experiences I've had through my self-love journey and spiritual healing. Together, we will develop new healthy habits, hold each other accountable, and put our mental health first. My intention is to shine a light and release any stigma there is around mental health. Let's create a community where we feel safe and open to have conversations about our mental health. Together, we can grow, thrive, and shine. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bipolar Baby Podcast with me, your host, Erica Nicole Barrera. Oh my gosh, I am just having the best day ever. And honestly, it's been like a really great, I don't even know how many days or weeks. And like, honestly, things happen, right? Like life is still happening. Uncomfortable conversations are still coming up, especially right now with everything that just happened with the election and everything. And this is not a place of government talk or anything like that. I myself in general am someone who refrains from speaking about politics really at all. Even in my personal life, I just don't participate in much talking about it. And I love listening to other people. I personally just don't know enough. And I try to educate myself as much as possible, as I feel like we all should, or all could benefit from learning. And yeah, I mean, I do my best. And the thing is, when things happen like this, I just want to say that everybody grieves in a different way. Everybody feels in a different way. Everybody experiences pain and shows however they're feeling in a different way. And just because somebody doesn't seem like they're angry or feeling some type of way about anything does not make it okay for you to judge them or feel like, why aren't they saying anything? Or why aren't they angry? Like, that's not for you to decide someone's anger or just view on anything. Like, everyone's emotions and feelings are valid. And I think that we all say that, but it's another thing to actually honor that. And I just really want to remind everybody to not only give yourself grace during this time, but give everyone else grace as well, no matter who they are. We literally are all one. Like on this planet, we are just all the same people reflecting one another's parts of ourselves that we don't like in ourselves. And next time you see somebody that or saying something that is like upsetting, honestly, really don't even internalize it. Just observe it. Be the watcher of your own life. Like I've said before, don't put any meaning towards it. Just think like, that's interesting. Why might someone think that way? You know, people only know what they know. People can't out of nowhere be like, oh, I actually feel like this. Like, that is right. You know, it's like we all come from different households, different backgrounds. Some of us aren't exposed to certain things that we find right, you know, or wrong. Like, people don't know what we don't know. Give each other grace. Let people be willing to learn from you. Let people be willing to change their minds. Let people be willing to be open to what you have to say. It is okay to be upset, but please do not let it control you. my therapist, we had like a meditation the other day, and she said faith over fear, and 1,000,000% faith over fear. And I don't even like using the word fear because it's like, I don't, with me, I have learned along the way, like, nothing besides love is real. Anything that is fear, that is anger, is just an absence of love. So I just want to take a moment to honor every single one of you, no matter what your background, no matter your political views, anything. This is a safe space. I honor you, each and every one of you. I love you. And I just want to take a deep breath in together. And we're going to release it. Breathe it into Mother Earth so she can transform it into something new and beautiful. Mother Earth, Mother Nature is always able to recycle any of our feelings and make them into something new, whether it's a blade of grass, whether it is just that pure air that we are so lucky to breathe in every single day. Okay, we're going to change gears now, but I just felt like I needed to say that before we go into it. So, speaking of fresh air, I today woke up naturally at 7 a.m. Like, what? Who is she? She's amazing, and she is me. So I woke up at 7 a.m. and Brian was still sleeping, and I was like, dang, Yuki isn't even like calling for food right now. This is pretty impressive. And something inside of me, I've talked about this really briefly on my Instagram stories. If you're not following me over there, please go ahead and check it out. I know I have not been as active on this podcast, but I am doing my best to change that and doing my best to show up. And let me just say, I show up on here. I show up on my personal Instagram. I show up on my Bipolar Baby podcast Instagram, as well as now, like I've mentioned, my YouTube channel, which I'm like fully committed to, and also sometimes TikTok, but that's like a whole nother story that I just kind of have fun to see, like, what kind of people are over there, like what kind of content people relate to over there. It's honestly kind of fun just posting like almost similar things, if not like reposting things from the past and seeing how they're perceived nowadays by people. So I don't know. I'm just having fun with social media. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself. When I talk about YouTube, I am taking that more seriously because I feel like you can actually get a lot out of your time and community from building that on YouTube. So anyways, back to what I was saying, but recently on my YouTube, or probably on YouTube too, but anyway, on Instagram, I have talked about it recently where I have just been like super connected to my like spirit. I've been super connected to life and listening to those intuitive hits that I talk about, which are, like basically when you're sitting or walking, anything, and you get like this thing in your head, right? Like not almost like an idea of like, oh, maybe I should drink some water. Like I haven't drank water all day. And then you totally ignore it. The thing is, those are signs from like your guides. Those are signs from your intuition. Those are signs from, spirit, like I said. And you can call it whatever you want, right? It's like your inner knowing, your inner voice, I don't know, like you can say God if you want to. And it's like that little voice in the back of your mind. And the more you connect with it, the more it comes forward into your brain and into your mind. It's like, yeah, it's in the back of your mind usually, but the more you connect with it, like I'm saying, it comes forward and it almost starts to guide you. So, for example, the other day on my stories, I was talking about how I was getting like really anxious in the house. I was getting so anxious. I was all over the place, like energetically, right? And I was sitting and I was like, oh my God. And I started getting agitated, and I could just tell, like, I am about to be a force of don't mess with me right now kind of energy. Like, unfortunately, my poor Brian, not really, but yes, I was like, oh, I don't want to, like, be mean to Brian right now. But, like, honestly, I'm just so annoyed, like, and for no reason, right? I was just like, why am I annoyed? And then I realized, like, okay, so I was sitting there and I was like, I have a choice right now. And something just told me, like, move your body. And I was like, oh, God, but like, I have a history of not being someone who moves their body. But side note, I recently got blood drawn. And it's funny because the last 2 times I've gotten my blood drawn, which was like 5 years ago, I had borderline high cholesterol both times. And everybody's always like, what? Like when I tell them, and I'm like, well, I don't move my body a lot. So I don't really, exercise that much. And I eat as, we eat pretty well, but I guess it's just that whole combination of not moving my body, right? Like it's important to move our bodies, like not only for our mind, but for our health. And so that's really kind of making me wake up. And I have been looking up new recipes that we've tried. I have just mentally been very conscious of my choices. I'll even like pick and choose my sweets now, or, I'm just, like I said, I'm more conscious of the way I'm living my life. And even that has probably made me more connected to spirit and my true self and you could say higher self too. That's just like coming to me right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the more we connect and the more we pay attention to our bodies, the more we get those intuitive hits of like telling us what is the next best move. And I will say at a time, like even in the last 5 months, I have talked about this on my YouTube channel, that I was very much having like body conscious issues. I've been really uncomfortable in my body, and it's interesting because when we're feeling uncomfortable in our body, we naturally, I feel like, tend to ignore looking at ourselves in the mirror. We typically ignore our bodies and we just like unconsciously eat, or unconsciously like are just like, oh, right? Like we just have it in our mind, like I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm so uncomfortable right now kind of thing. Or at least that's where I was, right? I can't speak for everyone, but if, that's how I felt. And so it's funny because the more you pay attention and the more you're making those conscious decisions, like I said, the more that you can keep following and openly receiving what the best next thing is. So as I was sitting there, I said, I have a choice, and you know what? I can go on a walk right now. I am blessed and with the opportunity, with the time that I have to be able to go on a walk. So that's exactly what I did. I literally just got up from the chair and was like, okay, cool, I'm going to go on a walk. And I told Brian, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to go on a walk. And he's like, okay, like, cool. And I've told him in the past, like, I don't like to be celebrated in the moment for something like mundane that I feel like I should have been doing anyway. So I'd be like, hey, I don't want you to celebrate when I'm like getting off the couch or doing this or doing that. Like, oh my God, good job. Like, oh, wow. Like you're moving, or whoa, my God, you're going to work out now. Like amazing. Like, I just don't like that. I'm like, it's almost like I want to be by myself and growing on that journey alone. It's like I want to be by myself and I don't want somebody to like, I don't know, celebrate me for doing something that I feel like I should have been doing anyway. And I want to experience that for myself. And then at the end of it, be like, wow, you're like, good job. Like, I want to be able to like be proud of myself first in order to receive those compliments. I just feel like it might be a weird thing, but I'm saying it in case anybody else feels that way. Like, we don't have to be upset at them, right? We just need to communicate our needs and our wants. And life is just so much easier when we do communicate our needs and our wants, because then nobody's guessing. And then there's no fights because there's no miscommunication. But so I was like, I'm going to go on a walk. And he's like, okay, cool. And so here I am putting on my stuff to get out. And I was, like I said on my stories, I was walking out of the house. But as I was walking, I literally felt like I felt it when I was walking towards the door. Like I felt my spirit like guiding my brain almost like to the door. And it was almost like a dog like leading me on a leash. Like I couldn't help but like keep walking. It was so weird. Like it felt so good to be connected in that way where I wasn't overthinking. I was just like, whoa, okay, cool. Like almost like autopilot, but not in a negative way of like being unconscious and be like, oh, like you're just going through the motions, right? It was like an autopilot of like, I knew what to do next. I knew what turn to make, like, and I will say it is still kind of a little nerve-wracking to go out, and I figured out like a coping mechanism. And something that I really like when I'm going on walks is carrying something in my hand, because it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel secure. It also makes me feel protected for some reason, because I feel like somebody might not know what's in my hand and think it could be like pepper spray or something. And granted, I probably should have some form of protection. And by the time this comes out, I most definitely will. So don't come for me. Oh my gosh. No, anyways. Yes. So form of protection always. And I was basically like, I even want to like, I was walking today and I was like, I want some glasses where like there's like a rear view mirror on it, like where I could see if anyone's behind me. Like I would just love that. I know bikes have them. So anyways, just an idea. Side note, side tangent. So I'm walking, right? And I ended up walking for, I think, like 15 minutes, and I loved it. It felt good. I felt amazing being able to honor my body. I felt amazing listening to what I needed and knowing that that's exactly what I needed. Our bodies always know what is needed, and when we honor that part of ourselves, like that's when magic happens. That's when life happens for us and not to us. I realized when I got home that, or maybe even on my walk, that, and me and Brian have talked about this with himself too, when we get antsy and agitated, it's like, that's like our body's sign of being like, I don't want to do this right now. I want to be doing something else right now. This is not what I want to be doing. And that's what I felt like in this house. I was like, I need to get out of here. And it's like, when, I guess I'm trying to say, like, when we aren't honoring that feeling, that's when we get upset. That's when we get agitated. That's when we're like, ugh, And it's like, okay, well, if that's not what you want to do, then do something else, And I feel like people could say like, well, I don't want to go to work, but I go to work. And it's like, okay, come on. That's not what we're talking about. But also we have the power to change things. And if you don't like your job, I'm sure you can change it. But anyways, that's besides the point. I don't know why I always think of like the negative things people might say to me. I think it's because I've been a lot more open on social media, and sometimes people will like come for you in the comment section and be like, well, blah, 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 blah. And granted, it doesn't happen often, but actually it was funny because over the summer, remember that one time when I went on a walk, that one time where I woke up early and I went on a walk? Well, I posted a reel on it and I was like, oh, benefits of getting up early. And it was like going on a walk, like joining a meditation like group or class, going to the coffee shop, like local coffee shop, or like discovering a local coffee shop, discovering like a brewery or whatever. And it was so funny because somebody commented, they were like, most of us have to get up early for work anyways, and some of us can't even afford things like that. Or like, some of us get up for work and aren't even able to pay for stuff like that still. And I was like, oh my God. It was so funny because whenever someone comments like that, honestly, like, I don't take it personally. I more so see that person for like who they are and what they're going through in their personal life. And I'm like, dang, like, I'm the watcher, right? I'm not judging it. I'm just like, dang, that's like really interesting. Like, what a thought process. And I'm really grateful that I don't have that thought process. Because little does this person know, I'm somebody with mental health, struggles. And for me, getting up early was, could be really hard sometimes. Getting up out of bed can be hard sometimes. Having the confidence to join in on something, like doing something good for myself, like going on a walk or joining in on a meditation class, those are things that are obstacles for myself, right? So it's like one of those things where we don't know each other's life, but it was just really interesting. And little does that person know, I actually made money on that walk, okay? I went to the coffee shop and I actually helped someone and they gave me $10. Like, they literally were like, here you go. Thank you for helping me. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I had also been practicing the art of receiving. And so whenever anybody offers you like money, like, or offers to pay for something, don't say like, no, that's okay. Be like, yes, like I received this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Because when we're saying that, we're like telling the universe, God, angels, we're telling the world, like we're telling that, yes, we are open to receiving. And when we're open to receiving, we're keeping that flow open for new opportunities, more money coming in. When we're like, oh, no, that's okay, we're literally shutting down that energy flow. And we need to keep that going. Like, who are we to say no to someone who wants to help us? Always be open to receiving, whether it's money, whether it's help, like, just be open. You don't need to shut it down. It's there for a reason. And yeah, so basically, I just want to say that like today, it all connects with keeping on building the muscle with connecting with our intuition and with our true selves, with our higher selves, with where we want to be in life. And this morning I naturally woke up at 7 a.m. And I was like, whoa, like Brian was still asleep. I was laying there and I was like, I could easily go back to sleep right now. And I was like, no, I don't want to go back to sleep right now. So it was so funny. Before I got up, I was like, I'm going to give gratitude for waking up. And I'm going to give gratitude for naturally waking up and getting out of bed. And then I started moving my arms in a conscious way, like with my wrists, like above my head and like circling them. And I gave gratitude. And then I got out of bed. I picked up 2 of their like selenite crystal chargers. So they're like these bigger sized handheld selenite sticks. And they're really good for cleaning your energy. Selenite is good for cleaning like your crystals, for cleansing your own energy. It is like, it does disintegrate in water, okay? So don't put it in water, but I feel like everyone should have a piece of selenite in their life. It's amazing. So I held those in my hands and I cleansed my energy intentionally, like cleansing off anything from the evening, from that sleep, and just cleansing myself for a brand new day. So I was just like, okay, girl, like, get it. I was like, go you. And I was like, cool. And then I fed Yuki, and normally Brian feeds Yuki. So I was like, you know what? He's going to love that I got to feed her this morning and he didn't have to hear her meowing this morning. And so I did that and I brushed my teeth. I washed my face. And even that in itself is a big deal for me. I'm somebody who is very into skincare, very into taking care of their face. And sometimes like I'm going to admit, sometimes I don't wash my face until the night. And I'm like, oh my God, like I told my therapist, I was like, I've been doing really good, but there's still that part of me that sometimes doesn't wash my face, and oh God. And she was like, you know what? She's like, there's that part of you still, and that's okay. She's like, that's that part of you that was there and would be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Or, that one part of yourself that is almost like a little rebellious side of like, not doing what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. She's like, and that's an important part of yourself. Like, don't push her away. Like, listen to what she's trying to tell you. And I was like, oh, okay, you're right. And I was like, okay, like, what is she trying to tell me? And I was like, she's trying to tell me that I need to pay attention to her more. She's like, hey, remember me, your face? Pay attention to me, clean me, like, spend more time with your body, honor me, take the time to clean your face. And I was like, okay. So that felt really good to not, like I said, judge, but observe the feelings, observe them, and release them, honor them and release them. So yeah. After that, I was like, I don't know, like something just made me feel like, first of all, when I've been waking up in the morning, I drink coffee, and every time I drink coffee, I'm like, girl, you should be drinking water first. Like, drink water first. So today I washed my water bottle that had been sitting there for like 5 days, probably more, that just had like old water in it that I hadn't been drinking, but was just like, I needed to wash it, And I was like, I'm going to wash my water bottle and I'm going to drink water from it. And I did. And I kept getting this feeling of like wanting to go on a walk. And I asked like Google what the temperature was outside. And it was like 40 degrees. And I was like, 40 degrees? I was like, girl, what? But I'm not going to lie. It was sunny this morning. And I opened the blinds when I woke up. And I was just like, I want to be in that sun. Like, I want to be in that sun. And I know the sun is like really important for our circadian rhythm, whatever that means. Like when we wake up in the morning, it's important to get that. And yeah, it's funny because I even had the image of like what coat to wear. And I have like a million coats because I just love going to like resale shops and finding the coolest coats. And it is like, so sometimes it's like takes me extra long to like leave the house because I'm like, what coat should I wear? But the vision of the coat came to me and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to wear that coat and I'm going to go through the motions. I'm going to honor what's happening right now. And sure enough, Brian had just woken up and I was like, I think I'm going to go on a walk. And he was like, okay. He's like, but it's 40 degrees outside. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, yeah, you have stuff for it. I'm like, yeah. So he goes out to do some stuff this morning, and mind you, it is like 8 o'clock at this time. Okay. So I've already done all of this and it's like 7:55. I was like, whoa, what? And I was like, cool. Like I was just like on my own personal little journey, like having fun. And so here I am like on this walk and I'm going on first of all, I was like, when I walked out through that door, the sun was shining and I was just like, oh my God. I was just like in awe. I was like, wow, live. And let me tell you, it wasn't even that cold because we're still like in that weird part over here in the Chicagoland area where it says it's 40, but the sun makes it feel like 55, almost 60. And to us, that's not that cold. People still wearing shorts over here, okay? But I had my like semi-winter coat on. I bought like a fuzzy hat just in case. I wore a scarf. So the initial feeling of outside was not too much. It felt great. I loved breathing in like the fresh air. I was like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing. And I just went on my walk. And I went on a different little route. On the way, I saw the sign of someone's apartment. It said Faith, something, something. And I was like, oh my God, that's a sign. Literally, but I love the word faith. And yeah, I followed my intuition on which ways to go. It felt great. I ended up walking for 20 minutes, and not even that, but during my walk, I was like, dang, I feel like running. It was so weird. Something told me like run, and not in like a scary way. It was like, girl, run. Like, because I was like, "Ugh, I want to get home sooner." And I was like, well, I could always run. And the thing is like, I did not have like gym shoes on. I had more like warm kind of, I don't know, shoes on, like beetle boots. And granted, they are comfortable, but they are not running shoes. So I was like, well, if I run, I might look weird. And I was like, girl, who is looking at you right now? And if they are, who cares? You could have somewhere to go. Like, you could just have had an emergency call. They don't know. So I was like, okay. So here I go, like on this little damsel in distress kind of run, like, and I just sprinted for like maybe 5 or 6 houses. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I got that out of my system. But it made me think like, okay, girl, like maybe you can start going on little jogs in the morning. Maybe you can start going on little runs in the morning. And I was like, all right, I'm open to it. Oh my God. So yeah, I got home probably around like 8:30, and I did like at least a mile, and wow, guys. I was just like, who is she? By 9 o'clock, I already had like 3,000 something steps. And for me, I probably average like 200 steps a day because I sit a lot and I don't go outside much. So I know that's a lot, but I mean, we're all on different paths of our lives. We all live different lives. We never know what someone's life is like. And just remember, everyone's journey is different. And we're all doing the best with what we can. And the more we listen to our intuition and the more we honor our bodies and our mind, the more easily we'll be able to just experience life and experience the things that we are meant to experience. So I just wanted to share this with you all. I really wanted to share this message. I know there was a lot of little messages in there, and I just feel really good about it. These are all things that have been on my mind lately, and I just want to say thank you for being here. I really want to thank you for being here with me. I love you all so much. I hope you are taking care of yourselves in the best way that you know how, and just be open. I will say something that has always helped me in the past couple, I don't even know how many months now, but I know I've talked about it before, but morning pages, that is like something that I learned from The Artist's Way, the book. I will say morning pages, I feel like have changed my life. Every morning I write 3 pages in a journal, and I know that might sound like a lot, but having that time with myself during that time is like so opening for myself. And it can, like, at first you're just, because you're not supposed to like have any prompt, right? You're just like writing to write out stuff, and it's not like a dream journal, it's not like a to-do list, it's more of just like writing whatever you want. And I will say in the beginning, and sometimes still, it can be pretty mundane. And you're like, literally, I'd be like, the sky is blue. Like, the carpet is this color. Like, I feel this way, blah, 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 blah. Like, it literally feels like you're writing like a little robot or something. But then the more you write, like every day, all of a sudden, the more almost like spiritual it gets. It's almost like my connection to source energy and my intuition, because you start to not judge what you're writing, and you just start writing and it starts flowing through you. And I think that's like the takeaway that happens when you're doing it through writing. Then you start doing it through your body and through your decision making, because you're not overthinking. You are practicing the skill of just being in the moment. And this is like literally all just coming to me right now. So I don't even know where that came from, but that's probably coming from the morning pages as well. So anyways, I just wanted to leave you with that as well. And I hope, that you got something out of this, that you're taking something away with you. Please let me know what is something that you took away from this episode. I'm going to leave like a little box where you can leave a comment. And whenever you listen to this, I would love if you could just even tag, like, just make a story or something, or a post, or just even message me letting me know what you took away from this episode, what has helped you. And please share this episode and this podcast with anybody that you know and love that you also think it would benefit from. They would benefit from. So anyways, I love you. I hope you're having a great day, evening, night, early morning, whatever time of day it is for you. And I'll see you in the next episode. I love you so much. Bye. With my full heart and gratitude, I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in today. May we always remember that we are pure light and love. Share this podcast with any friend or family member you feel called to, and we love to hear any takeaways or aha moments you got from this episode. Be sure to tag us at Bipolar Baby Podcast.